Our guest today is the director of the Illinois Office of Tourism. He is responsible for leading the state's tourism in its marketing and development efforts. Prior to his appointment by Governor Rauner over 2.5 years ago, he served as Deputy Chief of Staff in the Comptroller's Office. Ladies and gentlemen, Cory Jobe. Cory?
And Jay, I'm going to take you up. I'm going to become a member. So I was delighted to be here for Marilyn's speech. Yeah, that's right. Well, good afternoon, everyone, and thank you again to City Club for having me speak. I was telling Jay while we were having lunch, this has been something I've wanted to do ever since I became director of the Illinois Office of Tourism. Because tourism is such a vitally important economic engine for our state. So it's quite an honor for me to be here today. Before I begin my formal remarks, I know we work very closely with the 40 certified convention and visitor bureaus around the state who day in and day out really help us spread the message and attract those quality visitors into the state each and every day. There's so many in the room. Could each of you stand up and let's give you all a round of applause, our certified bureaus that are with us? But thank you so much. And I'd also like to, there's Christine Dudley. She's kind of my, what better good news to have in the state of Illinois than tourism and film. And Christine does a fantastic job representing the film office, not only around the U.S., but around the world. So thank you for coming today, too. Thank you. I'd also like to thank my partner, John. I drag him out every once in a while to these lunches. He's got to put on a suit and tie, so John, thank you for coming as well today. Well, it's not often that I get so many of Chicago's leaders, and especially stakeholders in one room, to talk about our industry. And I want you to know your participation with our office is essential to the success of our efforts. And I want to thank you for your partnership and your commitment as we continue to grow this industry. If there's anything I want you to take away today, it's that tourism's not only a great investment, but it's vital to the economic success of our state. Let's take a look. Did you know that right now the #1 business employer in the United States is the travel-dependent leisure and hospitality sector? That's a substantial position, but it hasn't always been that way. The tourism landscape has shifted dramatically over the last decade. In the tourism industry, we talk a lot about the traveler journey. So before we get into what we've been up to at the state level, I would like to talk to you about the important role and the backstory of the traveler journey of our nation. In 2009, the United States took its first step towards becoming a travel-forward destination when it signed into law the Travel and Tourism Promotion Act, giving the USA a national destination marketing organization, the Corporation for Travel and Promotion. In 2010, the U.S. took another step forward when the Corporation for Travel Promotion became the fully established destination marketing brand we recognize today as Brand USA. With a new name and brand identity came additional funding from both the public and private sectors and a more robust international marketing strategy, including research to support marketing at the state level. And the best part, this all occurs at zero cost to the taxpayer. Brand USA's budget is based on in-kind contributions from more than 700 partnering companies and destinations and matched with funds from a small tax levy on international travelers visiting the U.S. The Illinois Office of Tourism was one of Brand USA's founding members and remains to this day one of its largest supporters. There are some moving pieces at the national level when it comes to tourism efforts and funding, but we remain optimistic that the United States will continue to be a prime travel destination. The industry will work with elected officials across the aisle and within all levels of government to highlight our importance to both the U.S. economy and the millions of Americans who are employed by the travel-dependent leisure and hospitality sector. The U.S. Travel Association recently debuted a new report, Travel, America's Unsung Hero of Job Creation. This report revealed that 1 in 9 jobs in the U.S. are supported by the nation's $2.1 trillion travel industry. As America's 7th largest employer, the travel industry supports a total of 15.3 million domestic jobs and directly employs 8.6 million workers across the country. What's more, the travel industry creates jobs faster. From 2010 to 2016, travel employment grew by 17% versus 13% for the rest of the private sector. And it's just not major hotel chains or sites and attractions that are driving the travel industry job creation. The travel industry is the economic lifeblood of small business owners in the United States, which have driven the majority of U.S. job growth over the past several decades. You know, we should always listen to the data, and the data never lies. And what this data tells me is that our industry is essential to the success of our nation's economy. Regardless of decisions, travel and tourism is an ardent ally of the U.S. administration. We share the goals of our leadership: improve quality of life for U.S. citizens and improve the economic position of our nation. Obviously, tourism plays a major role at the national level, but I wouldn't be here today if it weren't as equally as important at the state level. The Illinois Office of Tourism is currently funded 100% by the state's hotel-motel tax. By law, tourism is to receive 33.5% of the hotel tax revenues received each year. That's taxes on expenditures that directly affect our efforts. And we do a lot with that 33.5%, helping fund Choose Chicago and our 39 other Convention and Visitor Bureau budgets around the state as well. Furthermore, the Illinois Office of Tourism acts as the first touch point for travelers driving interest in Illinois' diverse destinations. A Japanese traveler, for example, might encounter the Illinois Office of Tourism through our international efforts, be inspired to visit Chicago, then research Choose Chicago for more information. And our efforts are driving real impact. Last year, Illinois welcomed over 112 million visitors. And those visitors are staying longer than ever before, which means more time visiting attractions, shopping, and dining establishments in our Illinois destinations. In the past 10 years alone, domestic travelers visiting Illinois increased by 19 million. Just think about that. Over the past 10 years, 19 million additional visitors. And last year alone, the tourism industry created 10,000 new jobs for Illinois residents, from lodging and food service to entertainment to retail and a variety of artisan small business entrepreneurs. And domestic and international expenditures are rising as well, reaching $37.9 billion in 2016, a $571 million increase over 2015. And it was all said and done, those visitor expenditures generated over $2.8 billion in state and local tax revenue, an increase of $122 million from 2015. That's tax revenue that our communities rely on. You know, I like to say that tourism is saving Main Street America. As we spend more and more of our shopping dollars online, communities throughout Illinois are suffering. Oftentimes, locals just aren't spending enough locally to keep doors open. But visitors love to shop. It's at the top tier of their travel itinerary. Many of our communities now count on this outside visitor spending to make up for the loss in local dollars. You know, fabulous Michelin star restaurants, the best shopping venues, your favorite cultural attractions, they all exist and survive on visitor spending. Jobs, community projects, social services, quality of life, they're all driven by tourism dollars, and that's very significant to remember. You know, hopefully by now I've convinced you that our industry is pretty important. So what are we doing at the state level to affect the record change for Illinois tourism? Let's take a look at our most visible initiative first. It's the Illinois Office of Tourism's flagship Up for Amazing campaign. Let's take a look. I always have to throw our Cubs in there everywhere I can get them. Thank you. These beautifully crafted campaign advertisements launched March 1st with the singular goal of inspiring travel in 5 key persona segments to authentic destinations throughout our state. Whether we're looking for an outdoor escape or our next great family vacation, we all travel for different reasons. Up for Amazing embraces those differences and challenges our audiences to pursue those authentic experiences that speak most deeply to them. Our 5 key personas include outdoor adventurers, Chicago sightseers, international road trippers, LGBTQ city break aficionados, and family vacationers. With bold images and an original song from local Chicago group, The Gold Web, yes, that's The Gold Web, the Up for Amazing brand campaign articulates the pulse and authenticity of Illinois. The campaign ran in 5 international markets and 14 U.S. regional markets. And running through July 31st, this campaign was hugely successful, with just the digital portion of the campaign generating over $28 million in hotel revenue, and for every dollar invested delivering nearly a $9 return and economic impact for our state. Our fall campaign is having great success too. I can't believe fall is almost over. But let's take a look at what we've got in market still today for the fall. Released August 21st, this not only was our earliest fall campaign, it was also the biggest. We're currently running television ads in 9 markets throughout the Midwest and also running digital and social campaigns as well. It's still early, but the numbers are very promising. So far from the digital campaign alone, we've generated over $17 million in estimated hotel revenue. The first quarter of 2017 also saw the launch of our brand new award-winning website, enjoyillinois.com. The traveler journey is no longer linear. You know, once upon a time, there was an order to travel planning. You get inspired, book a hotel and flights, choose your activities, take the trip, show off your vacation photos. You know, it really made sense. But with the advances in technology today, that's all out the window. Travelers book hotels en trip, share content with friends in real time, and circle back for more inspiration. There's really no more order when it comes to travel. EnjoyIllinois.com has been our solution. The website is a multifaceted, created expression of the amazing Illinois brand, optimized to capture data and personalize the digital experience to inspire travelers to spend more time in Illinois. Often the first touch point for potential travelers, the new EnjoyIllinois.com website receives over 1.7 million visits per year, and that number is growing every day. As a top-of-funnel sales tool, EnjoyIllinois.com inspires travelers with tailored, user-friendly content and state-of-the-art listing technology that delivers better and more relevant information. Once on the site, visitors explore the state before they ever set foot in Illinois soil, finding inspiring trip ideas and blog posts detailing some of our favorite destinations. Through our robust content platform, EnjoyIllinois.com empowers travel planning pre-trip, in-trip, and beyond. You know, one of our most visited pages is a gateway to learning more about historic Route 66, which many of you know starts right here and begins in Chicago. Comparing recent performances year over year, EnjoyIllinois.com has seen a 331% increase in web users, resulting in a 17% increase in overall travels to the state, a 3% increase in accommodations and flight searches, a 21% increase in flight and accommodation bookings, an astounding 63% in total number of nights, and a range of data capture tactics have delivered a 447% increase in newsletter signups. And did I mention, EnjoyIllinois.com was recently crowned best travel website in America as well. Not too bad for the past 10 months. You know, the data confirms, oh, thank you. Yeah. I'm pretty proud of that. My team, I drive my team crazy. They know how proud we are of it. It's been remarkable what we've been able to achieve over the past 10 months. And the data confirms that websites are a must for destination marketing. And through savvy strategic thinking, we've developed a state-of-the-art tourism website that's delivering true ROI for the state. Another exciting initiative I'd love to tell you about, I'm very passionate about this, and it's our Illinois Made program. Skift recently reported that nearly 76% of all millennial travelers today want to have an authentic experience when they travel. From coffee roasters and beer brewers to hat makers, unique, vibrant, innovative small business owners all across our state and right here in Chicago are doing just that, creating authentically Illinois experiences for our visitors. The Experience-Driven Illinois Made program celebrates the makers, creators, and artisans who helped craft Illinois by hand. By promoting these authentic maker experiences, we drive visitors deeper into Illinois, increasing visitor spending and generating more tax revenue for communities around the state. And they're doing just that. Our Spring Summer Illinois Made digital campaign alone generated over 21,000 hotel bookings and $7.5 million in hotel revenue. And every dollar invested returned $18 to the state. Now in phase 2 of the program, we just announced 40 new makers, all amazing businesses that are drawing visitors from around Illinois and around the world, creating jobs and growing our state's economy. Through our robust maker profiles, content, and trip itineraries, we can inspire travelers to venture deeper into Illinois, from everything from tasting authentic truffles in Springfield to indulging in a small batch whiskey from Whiskey Acres in DeKalb, which I have a video to show you today. Let's take a look.
So we are the first Illinois estate distillery. We grow everything. We control the entire process from seed to spirit. And you know, there's a real passion that a lot of consumers have for understanding how their food and their beverages are made. So we take about an hour-long tour of our facility. So it starts in the fields, and we talk about the crops and what we grow. We then adjourn to the distillery, where we actually talk about the process of making spirits. And then we finish with a visit to our barrel warehouse, and we get to taste the products. And people find a real connection with getting out of the city and getting into the country. And I think they really find it relaxing and peaceful and enjoy that.
And the group's intimate enough that we can answer questions. We get a lot of questions. And the exciting thing for us is, first of all, we're farmers. This is my 48th year farming here. And so it's exciting to do something value added that brings people out here to visit the farm. and to share with them our passion now for taking that grain and doing something special with it.
And so we've been farming here since my grandfather did, and so we continue that tradition. But at the same time, there's this movement for this artisan, and we're proud to be a part of that. We are the heartland, we're authentic, and everything that we do is transparent, and it's right here in front of our customers. They can see it, they can taste it, and experience it right here with us.
I encourage you to take a trip. It's worth it. By continuing to grow Illinois Made, we will continue attracting visitors to explore Illinois beyond our gateway destinations, supporting local businesses and generating important tourism revenue for our communities. We also launched a campaign this spring specifically for the LGBTQ market, including for our first time a 30-second TV ad in 7 Midwest cities. Our goal here is to position Illinois as an LGBTQ-friendly destination, a sophisticated international destination in the heart of the Midwest. So to pay it off, we had an international campaign running in both the UK and Germany, both in print and digital, by highlighting Chicago's LGBTQ neighborhoods and sharing a host of small-town experiences outside of the city for more low-key experiences. This campaign also ran from March 1st to July 31st, and the digital campaign alone generated over 6,200 hotel room booking nights, over $2.2 million in revenue, and for every dollar invested delivered nearly $11 in return for the state. Internationally, the Illinois Office of Tourism is continuing its evolution. According to the U.S. Travel Association, the typical international traveler spends an estimated $4,360 when visiting the United States over an 18-night stay. Unfortunately, and for a variety of reasons, the U.S. has seen a dip in international travelers to the tune of 4.2% in the first several months of 2017. Some of that change can be attributed to exchange rates and the strengthening of the American dollar. And at the state level, we've also seen stagnant growth from our key international markets over the last 18 months. This, coupled with shifting perceptions of the U.S., is challenging us to look more critically at our international strategy. We currently maintain offshore offices in Japan, Germany, and the UK. These big three markets are our bread and butter in terms of international dollars and consistently delivering strong returns on investment. However, we realize that we'll need to cast our nets further if we want to see continued growth. That's why over the last several months, we've shortlisted emerging markets that we've identified as key growth opportunities for Illinois. And here today at City Club, you all have the privilege of being the first to learn that after extensive research, the Illinois Office of Tourism has selected China and Mexico for our expansion efforts, beginning with our very first in-country offices. While we've operated in these markets remotely for some time, growing opportunities and increased interest have made placing official Illinois teams on the ground really a no-brainer. Based on research provided by Brand USA, Chinese travelers are expected to spend an average of nearly $7,500 per international trip, with the greatest proportion of surveyed respondents planning to visit the United States within the next 6 months. Moreover, China is already quickly becoming our top overseas market, with continued growth over the next few years. Illinois, we were the first to partner with Brand USA on a branded campaign in China. We were the first state this past year with special emphasis where we focused on the city of Chicago and the connection to Route 66 as a destination. And Mexico respondents are already selecting Illinois as a top 10 preferred travel destination, with a majority planning a trip to the U.S. within the next 6 months as well. Once open, our new offices will be responsible for sales trips, in-country PR, and providing international insights to elevate our in-country media placements. If we could get these emerging markets to interact with the Illinois brand in a meaningful way within the next 4 months of their traveler journey, we have the opportunity to affect millions of dollars in increased economic impact for Illinois. This is all very exciting news for our office and a decision we're confident will contribute positively to this state and the many partners in this room and beyond that we collaborate year over year. So with all the exciting news, really the next question is, how do we get there and how do we do this? How do we get international travelers to interact with Illinois in a meaningful way? In addition to placing media in country, we coordinate a variety of travel trade efforts to increase our product availability and brand awareness in international markets. You all probably are familiar with familiarization trips. A lot of you help us in this room each and every day. And we bring a lot of individuals into Illinois and around our state. Not only journalists, but trade groups from our key international markets, all throughout the state and around Chicago. And we've been pretty busy this year. We've hosted a variety. We've hosted Chinese photojournalists. We've hosted a Marie Claire UK trip, a Japanese trade group, a UK trade group, an American Airlines trade fam from China, and most recently supported the second Brand USA mega fam. And in the wake of our 2017 successes, we've set a very aggressive goal to get 200 travel trade and writers to Illinois in 2018. And for those of you that aren't familiar with fam hosting, that's a lot of people coming to the state, as my partners in this room will tell you and my team. It's a very aggressive number, but I know it's one we will achieve. In addition to bringing the world to Illinois through our fam trips, we've been taking Illinois to the world. Our sales teams have been hard at work with sales and trade partner training missions in Germany, China, Japan, and the UK. And those are just some of the highlights. At the Illinois Office of Tourism, we have a lot of programs happening all year long to promote travel to Chicago and throughout the state. Let me share with you some things we have going on, and then I'll wrap up. We have a lot planned for the coming months, from international programs to new media placements throughout our domestic markets. Just next Saturday, we're taking Illinois to Piccadilly Circus as the presenting sponsor of the Regent Street Motor Show. Each year, hundreds of thousands of consumers gather in London to experience the best on four wheels. But this year, European car aficionados will get a special surprise when the Illinois Office of Tourism delivers a taste of the mighty historic Mother Road, Route 66. This high-profile partnership is a prime opportunity to promote Illinois' historic stretch of Route 66 and all the Americana flair international visitors travel to experience. You know, in Illinois, we like to consider ourselves as a welcoming state. We like people, period. The LGBTQ travelers consistently rank Chicago as a preferred U.S. destination, along with New York, San Francisco, and Las Vegas. To build on the momentum of our successful spring-summer campaign, we are moving forward with a new initiative with our local LGBTQ community at the center of it all. Illinois is home to amazing experiences in every corner of the state, from bustling cities to quaint towns along byways and our waterways. And we welcome everyone to fully experience these amazing moments and come away with an amazing story about those one-of-a-kind experiences that somehow tie us all together and remind us about a feeling we all search for when we take a vacation from the ordinary. Amazing for All will consist of a portrait and video series that will tie together our amazing LGBTQ community with their amazing experiences, sites, attractions, and destinations they love to visit. This is also the beginning of a much broader international diversity campaign planned for the coming year. The Illinois Office of Tourism exists to promote authentic Illinois experiences to all people. And we want all countries and nationalities to feel welcomed and invited to experience our unique destination firsthand. I've talked a lot today about the history of travel and tourism in the U.S., to our efforts at the state level to promote Illinois internationally. So I'm sure you've all taken good notes, but if you haven't, I'm going to leave you with three key takeaways or 3 points. First, Illinois tourism is an important economic driver for this state. Ultimately, our goal is putting more heads in beds and increasing hotel-motel tax revenues at the state and local level and more visitor expenditures in our communities. Second, Illinois tourism creates jobs, and a lot of jobs. 10,000 new jobs last year alone is no small feat. Providing jobs for Illinois residents is something we're proud to do each and every day. And lastly, Illinois tourism must continue to innovate in order to drive increased economic impact for our state. The leisure travel landscape is changing rapidly. It's changing right here as we speak. And in order to thrive as a top-of-mind destination, we must continue to watch the trends and adapt our businesses and organizations to support a new generation of travelers. If you can remember just those 3 things today, my time with you here at City Club has been a huge success. And with that, I'll close out our time today. Again, Jay, thank you. And thank to all of you for coming today. It's quite an honor to have the opportunity to address City Club, and I'll end at that. Thank you so much.
That's okay, your water.
Yep.
You may be thirsty. But you're going to come back here, Cory. You know, we have a few questions, and if anybody has any questions they would like to ask of the director. Alex, would you please pick up these questions, bring them up here? Time for a number of questions. First one is from Sharon Fine, who's affiliated with the Illinois Holocaust Museum and Education Center in Skokie, Illinois. And her question is, do you work with other state DOTs, not Department of Transportation, to send a strong message to Washington? How does tourism drive our economy? How responsive is the federal government?
Great. I didn't see Sharon. Where is Sharon? Oh,
may
there
not
she
be-
is. Hi.
Oh, excellent.
You know, if I hope all of you have been to the Illinois Holocaust Museum. Sharon's a true champion. You know, the Illinois Holocaust Museum at Skokie is the third largest in the world. The third largest. And it's, if you have not been, it's a visit that you should make, and it's a visit that will leave a lasting impression. And what they're doing at the museum is remarkable. Sharon, yes, we do. We work on a couple of different fronts. We partner very closely with our Great Lakes states. So we are a member of Great Lakes USA, which is really encouraging travel from the UK, Germany, Japan, and China into the Great Lakes. As I said earlier, the international visitor typically travels 2 to 3 weeks at a time. And with us being home to O'Hare International Airport, it's a great pivot point. So we work very closely with trade efforts with our Great Lakes state partners. And then we also work very closely with the U.S. Travel Association. I'm honored to be on the National Board of Directors of the U.S. Travel Association. There are many state members on the board at U.S. Travel from around the country. And then there's also the National Council of State Travel Directors. There's only 50 of us in the country, so it's quite a group that face the same issues, problems, ideas, goals, achievements that I face and our team faces every day. So those three outlets, we work very closely to promote travel into the United States and with the Great Lakes to promote travel within the Great Lakes states.
Okay, thank you very much. And thank you for asking that question, Sharon. And the next time you're here and ask a question, we hope to see that you're a member, or to ask if you're a member of City Club. You get one freebie, but after that, you have to pay up. We have some great questions here, Cory. This is from Andrew Mack with Mack Communications. Andrew, where are you? There he is. Way back there. Great. How does the lack of a capital bill and failing transportation infrastructure impact tourism?
Well, I'll leave those issues to the governor and the 4 legislative leaders, but it's our job to make sure that tourism is at the forefront in terms of discussions. You know, I report up to the directors at the Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity. That's where Illinois tourism sets. They understand that the importance of the drivers around the state, you know, whether that's our great sites and attractions, whether that's various state parks and lodges, all these type of entities bring in those 112 million visitors a year. That number, the 112 million visitors a year, 87% of those visitors were here on leisure. So they're supporting a lot of sites, attractions, the museum campus, Navy Pier. You know, we heard from Maryland a couple weeks ago about the expansion efforts that are there, so that are ongoing at Navy Pier. These type of developments that are happening all around our state need help, and they drive major economic resources visitor spending, overnight accommodations, the ripple effect that that dollar has that's going into these sites and attractions, what that ripples out to in the local economy. So yes, tourism is a major economic engine. We let the Department of Commerce know that. They understand that. And there are a lot of sites and attractions around the state that need some help as we go forward.
Okay, thank you. This question is from City Club member Jim Aldworth. He's with the Chicago Fire Department. Jim, where are you? Excellent. Does the Illinois Department of Tourism, it's a very involved question.
Okay.
Does the Illinois Department of Tourism work with or support the EPA and other water quality agencies to ensure access to clean waterways, diverse aquatic biodiversity, and pleasant conditions for self-propelled watercraft? The water conditions seen in the video are not the same as viewed at the Hennepin Canal or at the Chicago Maritime Museum, particularly last week, off of Bubbly Creek. You know, they have a little oil leakage over there. Good question,
That's
Jim.
a great question, Jim. Oh, boy. Well, I can say that, I mean, and I appreciate the question because outdoor, you know, I went through our 5 key personas, and obviously outdoor adventures rank right up there in our top 2, actually, of key personas that we market to. And you look at all the natural resources around the state, whether it's Starved Rock or the Chicago River. You know, one effort that we're the promotion arm for the state, but we have recently been working with the Department of Natural Resources and other organizations here in the Chicago area with the Calumet Collaborative effort. And we're having a seat at the table just in terms from the tourism perspective and how we can better promote and educate visitors about the experiences they can have. But this is an issue. I go back to us 50 state travel directors around the country. The National Council of State Travel Directors have been wanting to have a more presence nationally about how we get involved in some of these issues and discussions. Sometimes this is our own faults of we're over-tourismed at times, and some state parks and our national parks are seeing that today. And how do we get ahead of that? And how are we a part of the solution up front when it's not too late to get involved? So we've started that effort here with the Calumet Collaborative effort, and I think you'll see more of that coming as the year goes along.
Okay, thank you. This is from City Club member Brent Hoffman, who's with the CAF, the Chicago Architecture Foundation. Brent, where are you? Great, over there. By the way, thank you for helping put on that wonderful open house this year as you have in the past. Question. This is the City Club. You never know what you're going to get. Does the tourism industry have a role in Chicago's bid for Amazon's second headquarters?
I see my boss sitting out there. She always tells me not to talk about Amazon. No, Amazon is, look, I personally don't have a stake in that, but I know our efforts at Choose Chicago, the governor's office, the Department of Commerce, Choose, and all the business organizations here. Obviously, quality of life will be, I'm sure, at the forefront and the center of it all. When we host travel writers from all over the world that have never been to Chicago, they are shocked at how amazing and how such a world-class city we have. And obviously that'll be at the forefront of the Amazon bid. Tourism is a major economic engine. I always say if it wasn't for tourism, we probably wouldn't have such beautiful things as the Chicago River, the museum campus, the fantastic architecture tours. The list goes on and on and on. And tourism impacts that quality of life, and quality of life will be looked at during that process.
Great. And by the way, don't forget Cahokia Mounds and the Dana House in Springfield and all of those.
I agree. I love Cahokia.
This is from City Club member Ashvin Ladd. Ashvin asks, what are the growth opportunities for Illinois tourism? Investment, promotion on current attractions, new attractions?
Well, we've got to continue. That's a great question. you always have to continue to invest. You always have to continue to search and invest in the next great thing. I know you're working on a major project that will attract a key demographic coming into the city and keeping visitors longer. That's the thing we've always, I talk a lot about when I'm out speaking to groups around the state about tourism infrastructure. And I don't mean roads and bridges, which they're important, but making sure that we're reinvesting in our sites and attractions, that we're looking for new product, because we have to continuously be thinking ahead of the game, and we have to continue ways to keep attracting visitors into the state, not only here in Chicago, but around the state day in and day out. And so it's important that we do that. And we work quite closely with our 40 certified convention and visitor bureaus on the domestic front. On the international front, it's potentially looking further at new markets to help promote in India and Brazil, Latin America. It all comes down to dollars and cents and the ability for us to grow. But consistently working with individuals and organizations around the state to look at that next new product. And we have to keep our eye on the prize, because the tourism industry is quite competitive. And once you lose a visitor, it's very hard to get it back. And we have a lot of great things happening for us in the state, but if we don't continue to invest and create, we could lose it.
Okay, and our last question came in via the internet from Michael Hardy, who's affiliated with HINTS, H-I-N-T-S. Here's his question. New York has I Love New York. Michigan has Pure Michigan. What does Illinois have as a catchy, says-it-all slogan? And let me add this, Cory. That's what I thought. If Ken Bennett could get his son to do something, would you accept his phone call?
Ken and I talk more to each other than we probably want to talk to each other. Ken and I are busy doing other things, unfortunately. Look, people bring up the Pure Michigan brand to me, and I'm very good friends with the state travel director in Michigan. The great thing is we have consistently outperformed the Pure Michigan brand for decades. We welcome more visitors and more visitor expenditure than any other state in the Midwest and the Great Lakes states. And the new campaign that we have now, Illinois, we asked the question, Illinois, are you up for amazing, has been done with in terms of extensive research in key markets around the Midwest and around the country and around the world. And to be honest with you, when our teams at our creative agency was coming up with our new message, this is not what I wanted. And I said, whichever message performs the best, that's what we're going with. And this is what performed the best and that I have embraced and adopted. And we look forward to a little competitive rivalry with our friends in New York and in Michigan. So,
great. Let's give Cory a big round of applause.
thank you so much.